Welcome to the Smith Publicity,
all things book marketing podcast.
The best tips, insights, and advice from the best in the publishing industry.
Okay, hello, and welcome to All Things Book Marketing. My name is Michela DellaMonica, and I am a host for this episode, along with my colleague Andrea Thatcher, who will jump in and out during our discussion today. Today's episode, we dive into the editing process of your manuscript and address topics like, should you hire a professional editor for your writing process and pre-publication, and what this process entails. So, today's discussion will definitely be valuable to writers who are in that writing process and thinking of hiring a professional editor. More often than not, we have conversations with authors who are in the pre-publication phase and don't even consider an outside source or a professional editor during this process. So we definitely think, this is a timely episode for you listeners out there. So on this episode, we hope you learn more about this process and the benefits of hiring a professional editor for your manuscript, with the insight from our special guest today, JoEllen Taylor, from a company called First Editi. Hi, JoEllen.
Hi there. Hi, nice to meet you.
You as well. Thanks for joining us. So first, we'd like to start off with an explanation of what First Editi is and who the clients you serve are.
Okay. Well, First Editi, we provide professional editing services for authors worldwide, and we've been in the writing industry since 1994, around there, and I've been part of their online editing since about 2006. So in just my time on board, we've had over 35,000 clients engage in our editing services. So we're pretty much in the market. Our clients, they include everything from traditionally published authors, agents, self-published authors who are independently marketing their books, researchers, analysts, and business people, those who are publishing for marketing purposes and more. So we also have a small selection of publishers who, they send their authors' manuscripts to us for editing, and we work on one-on-one or even behind the scenes in the publishing industry. So we really have the whole range of experience and expertise, and we try to meet each author where they are in the individual journey, because they're basically heading towards publishing and promotion, and we found that there's never really one size that fits all editing. It's a relationship, and we build it through sharing and understanding the author's personal objectives. So it's about helping each author understand what the options are to them, and especially when they're new to the process, because we have a large group of editors and editing consultants. They personally discuss and evaluate each author's needs. So we need to review the author's writing style, the strengths, the weaknesses. Basically, that's what editing is all about. And then we make a recommendation based upon the personal review of their editing. So as an author, we want to help. During the initial evaluation time, we'll provide you a sample of our services to make sure you're the right match for you. Mm-hmm. And then we also provide a critique so that we can decide, if we are a real match, can we provide what you need and is what you're looking for, and can we actually serve everything that you think you need. So the services can be as elaborate or as simple as the author chooses, and it's based on their goals. So I feel pretty confident that every author we come in contact with, they see the benefit of editing. And to be honest, nobody wants it. Nobody wants editing. Everybody wants publishing. So the truth is that everybody needs to have first editing, and then they can have publishing.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what would you say to an author who thinks they don't need an editor?
Well, I'm not here to convert the disbelievers. I'm here to help those who really want to help themselves succeed. And every publishing house works with editors, period. So it is necessary. It just is. Mm-hmm. My greatest concern for any author is for them to be prepared for the public. I mean, once you publish a book, even if you just share it with your friends, it represents you. And it's you in a very, very personal way. So there is no disconnect to do in your writing. So you need to prepare carefully. And you have that one shot for a great first impression. And we want to help you succeed in that very important moment. You wouldn't go to a party or a meeting, an important meeting, especially without preparing and taking a look, in the mirror. So we are that mirror. We take in all your impressions and give you a true reflection of what's really written there and how it looks, sounds, feels to the reader. And our job is to fix what you didn't see the first or even the 10th revision through your writing. And we make sure it shines, and not only do you get accurate representation, but hopefully it's going to be an aesthetically pleasing version of you and your book, and if we're still staying in the same mirror analogy. So we're professionals. We have hundreds of years of experience between us, and we want to make sure that when you do decide to publish, you have confidence. And regardless if you choose to edit with us or any other editor, it's just important to get a professional one. You don't want to trust your years of work and life experience to some freelancer who can't offer you the protection that you need. They have no track record, there's no guarantee, there's no commitment to your deadline. Sometimes successful authors, they don't have any of those that have been published, or a team if they have a life crisis in the middle of your edit. I don't know how many times I hear that. They had a baby, their mother died, something happened, and my book, I don't know where it is. So only go to someone who does it. Use a professional who's done it for so long that it's natural for them, it's not forced, and ideally a company that has checks and balances to protect your investment. Because, to be honest, editing is one of, if not the largest investments in publishing, especially if you're self-publishing. So it can be intimidating. And people ask me about self-editing all the time. And I say, yeah, do that. Learn to self-edit. Always take another review. Then people ask me about, well, can I get editing from my friends and family? Sure. And that's always a bit helpful. However, when it comes to exposing yourself publicly with a new book, I just can't emphasize enough how important professional, neutral edit is. You want to get feedback, constructive criticism that helps you improve your writing. And professional editor not only looks at the book that you're editing now, but you normally walk away with insight that you can apply to your next project, and you learn and evolve and grow through the editing process. So when you give your book to family or friends, they're not going to be unbiased. More than likely, they're going to stroke your ego or frustrate you because it's not a professional relationship. It's always going to be personal. And editing should not be personal. It should be simply perfecting your writing. So you focus on publishing, promotions and sales, and so much more. And again, what do I say to those who don't need editing? Nobody wants it. Everyone needs it. And you just have to do it first before the publishing.
And I think it's important, a lot of what you said is important to hear, because I think when self-publishing or maybe first-time authors hear editing, they maybe think, oh, it's grammar and punctuation, and my neighbor is an English major, and they can handle that, but it's nice to hear you explain how much more it is. It's not really, the punctuation and grammar things are kind of even a small part of the editing process, and maybe sometimes authors don't want to hear that there might be some, thematic or larger changes to their work, but sometimes they need that, and that's what will push their work to the next level and make it ready for publishing. And as you mentioned, a lot of publishers aren't interested in looking, or agents aren't interested in looking at a project that hasn't been edited, or if it hasn't, an agent's going to say, we need to get this edited. So I think there's maybe a lack of understanding in some of the industry about how much goes into editing. So it's nice to hear the breadth of your services.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the importance of, from a publicity perspective, the importance of a well-edited book in presenting it to the media is, far-reaching. When you present a book that is just in perfect shape and has gone through the process and took the time to, be perfected, and we position it and present it to the media in such a way as well, that may up the chance in getting book reviews, in getting, some attention taken to this book and to this finished product. So, it's definitely important on our end as publicists to, represent a well-edited book as well and present it to the media as such.
Yeah.
I think the goal is always to look at a book and say, oh, wow, I can't tell this was self-published, or I can't tell this is a small press book. And I think the stellar editing that a service like yours can provide is one of the distinguishing factors in that. And that the reason we want a book to be presented in that way is because when it lands on an editor's desk, if it doesn't look completely professional, it may not get the attention it deserves.
So what role does an editor take on, or a task they take responsibility for that might surprise people?
Wow. Editors take on a lot of roles, and it's basically all depending upon your needs and desires. There's the final proofread with the spelling, grammar, punctuation that everyone hears about, the standard level 1 copy edit, which includes the evaluation of word usage, elimination of jargon, removal of repetitious words, plus ensuring that there's always the style consistency and compositional spacing just to get started. And those are the lower levels. Once you go on to the professional level of a standard copy edit, it includes all of that, plus the checking for subject-verb agreement, correcting sentence structure, including transitional phrases, and it's improving the continuity of the flow of your writing and your statements within that, so that all of this is supported with professional editorial comments throughout your manuscript, so you can see what exactly we're seeing first time through. And beyond that, the professional editor can provide an advanced level 3. It's a content line edit, and then they're going to provide a review of your writing style, presentation assessment, industry style guide formatting, and they'll dig into your plot. They'll look at your characters, consistency, even provide supplementary rewrites of the sentences when it's necessary. But there's a lot all there, and once you jump into that, then, beyond the basic editing I've just talked about, which seems like an awful lot for those who aren't familiar with it, you're going to jump into a complete editing packet. And you're going to start looking at critiques and reviews, which are not only so helpful in each pass or version of the documenting, but it's also, surprisingly enough, this can also be used for marketing. It's your first unbiased feedback, and if you like what we say, use it. Get that first testimonial for the back of your book cover. Additionally, other editors, they'll correct your technique and your style, and they'll help you organize your thoughts and your process and your overall method. It's just this creative writing process is not something to be experienced in a bubble. It is something that needs to be nurtured for your growth. And too often people spend years writing alone in a room. And now by sharing it and really digging into this experience, you become a better author. So you're receiving private lessons, which help you improve not only the book that's right in front of us, but all of your processes in the future. And it's quite exciting.
It's almost like workshopping the project.
Yeah. It's almost like gone are the days where the writers are holed up in their attics writing alone and watching the summer days go by. But you make an interesting point. I think it's super important as well as to not only collaborate, but to, get those ideas from other perspectives as well. It could spark inspiration for a new story to tell, I think, moving forward too. That's great. So I guess walk us through the process of, the timeline of each phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've streamlined editing. We've got to meet the demands and expectations of today's book publishing industry. Like you said, things are changing. We're not holed up in that attic. And now we're online with the pure focus of just editing for the past 11 years. And I've seen this amazing boom with writing and Publishing, Amazon, and Kobo, you name it. And we've been editing nonstop this evolution of book publishing and distribution. It's the renaissance, they call it. So we've seen a lot. And today's writers not sitting down to an old typewriter or even the amazing electric typewriter from years ago. Or sometimes they're not even using a PC. Authors they're producing in a variety of new methods. They have the ability to write or even orally record their thoughts. So there's not the old-time transcription here, but voice-to-text software so that anyone can write a book. And it doesn't make everyone a successful author, but it sure evens the playing field, and it makes the competition astronomical. So the secret to success in all of this strategy, and writing is just one of the many steps. Editing is a necessary evil for publishing, and as the demand of writers who want to become a published author keeps growing, and I don't see this in any way diminishing, we've had to look at our editing process from the user's perspective. And ironically, even as I speak with you today, we're updating our ugly old website to better reflect decades of experience in the writing industry, and that's just a side note for those who decide to visit. But today's writers are part of an unbelievably very busy role. And come in and sit down in the editor's office at a designated time with hourly fees, transportation to and from the meeting, prepared to approach it in a process that's pedagogic, formal, school-like fashion to even determine if you're a match together. It just doesn't work. Just vetting and searching for editors, it's an idyllic thought to have that luxury, but it just isn't a common event now. So, mind you, this is a process people repeated again and again in the years past. And they had to go out, find their editor, determine if they were matched, and go through this. So now we're 100% online. And we are still real people. We answer the phone, we chat with you, return your email, set up the consultations on your schedule, in your home, electronically, Skype, whatever it may be. But the first step in the process is getting to know each other. So basically, we're going to ask our potential clients to send us a portion of the document. And this is going to be at least 5,000 words or more, so we can dig in. We can edit that, evaluate that, and give you some real feedback while we get to know you. Mm-hmm. And we'll provide you with a free editing sample of your writing so you can see for yourself what needs to be done and see how editing works. Next, we're going to include a lot. We're going to include a lot of comments and feedback and the suggestions about what you need. This includes the professional recommendations of the different editing levels I mentioned earlier. Do you need copy? Do you need line edit, content? Do you have a historical or research project that includes citations, references, footnotes, and all of this is going to be taken into consideration, and then you're going to hear what we believe is best for you. And you have to choose if it works and if it's new to you, but at First Editing, we have really competitive prices, and about 50% of our clients return for additional editing. So that's huge. So our mantra, whatever you want to say, and goal and promise is we don't want to sell you anything more or anything less than what you really need. And what this means is that if you need a real comprehensive edit that tackles your character development, your plot, transitional methods, we're going to recommend it. But to provide you less would be a disservice because you're not going to shine as an author. And it's a disservice to our own company to not achieve success with your writing by giving it any less than what it needs. But like I said, we have many authors who are on their third, fourth, fifth book, and if you're one of those authors who's been published multiple times with at least one book a year, there's absolutely no need for us to dig in like that if you don't see that. So upgrading you to a higher level is not there either. You're going to get back to your writing to your next book, and that's a lot more fun. So the first step is the evaluation, which is quite in-depth, and that after that we consult with you. We're going to determine what you understand of our recommendations, if there's anything else that you need. This is where we'll discuss a bit more of your strategy again. And this is where we make recommendations for outlining your book publicity and the promotion schedule. And this is why we're working hand in hand with this publicity, so that you're in professional hands from the start, because that's not what we do. But after the evaluation and the available consultation, your deadline is determined by the size of your document, which is basically your word count, the genre, which is matched exactly to an experienced editor, and the level of editing services that is needed. So this gives us a timeline, and that's the second step, the timeline commitment. But all of this sounds very, very complicated and bureaucratic, but ironically, it's not. Remember I said that we work along the same technology and we meet our author's needs. Well, all of this I just mentioned, we complete that within 24 hours. So
wow.
You're going to get it. I know, it's ridiculous, right?
The speed of light.
But that's the world goes. Everyone wants instant gratification, and we've had to streamline it. So you're going to get a free price quote instantly from the moment you contact us. It's firm, there's no hidden fees, based upon, a professional content edit. And then you'll receive a free sample within 24 hours after you send us that 5,000 words I mentioned. And if you provide your phone, we'll call you and immediately discuss your needs. So upon receipt of the sample and confirmation, if we're a good fit, if you feel like, yeah, this is going to work for me, then you just upload your document electronically. You make your payment, and your editor starts editing. So it's quite amazing. And how's that possible? Well, we have over 35,000 clients in the past 10 years since I've been around. So our editors are full-time. They're working for you. They're vetted, experienced professional editors that we assign for this genre instruction. And we do this with one of the leading companies out there. We're not a directory. I want to make that clear that you don't come on and have to do all the work and search and hire and do all that. We do it for you. So the advantage is that a special editing company, you don't have to review 100 different edited resumes and then contact 20 different editors online to get your book edited. You don't have to reach out to 20 freelancers, of which only, to be honest, maybe 5 respond. And maybe you like 2. And you're not really sure and you can't afford their prices because their editors only take on a couple clients a year, and the editing project is a large percentage of their income. So you're going to see crazy prices out there. They're totally worth the investment. Do not get me wrong. If that's what you need, then take them. But that editor is professional with experience. No matter what, no matter who you choose, I recommend editing for the publishing. So with us, though, we have a steady flow of work. Our editor's busy, happy, sharp. We do all the marketing. They keep really engaged in their craft, and they don't have to charge you for that extra downtime. There is none. And we have a steady income from our clients, returning clients we've engaged over the years. So we'll stand behind every edit with strong satisfaction guarantee, a team of backup editors, and you'll know what you're getting. So your editing right, carry on with your life. Start planning book signings, other way more fun stuff. So we are streamlined, and you don't get bogged down with the details and shopping. Editing is customized. Every client depends upon what their needs are, and we're going to meet them exactly where they are and what they need. So if the editor discovers something new or unpredictable and wants to slow down, we'll contact you. But basically, we're going to give you an outline, and the last part is when you receive that document, it's going to be electronically edited using the Word Changes feature. You can go through every single word, see every single edit, and there are literally thousands of edits on each document. It's really unbelievable when you get it back and it's just bleeding red. And all formatting corrections, grammar, spelling, punctuation, all that, and your document is a complete copy or line or content edit, and it has in-depth feedback, comments, all that criticism, so you improve and prepare it. Once you've reviewed everything, you just accept those changes. Work becomes yours 100%. If you have any questions or concerns, call us. We want to double check. And we're not going to disappear. We love talking with you. And yeah, we're human. Not an online software. So the goal is to correct inspector writing. If we need to take another elective section of it, we'll do that to make sure it's right. That's no problem. And we'll make sure everybody out there succeeds. And lastly, many clients get feedback, and then they want to rework the response manuscript. So there are those who return again and again. And if you choose to do that, great. It should only get better because you have different versions. So come back to us with a new version, sign up for new edits. If you just want that chapter, we'll sign the same project, same editor. You have consistency, confidence, and writing, and for that matter, editing, it's a process. We have so many tools and professional contacts available today. It doesn't have to be. We just want it to be like a team-building experience where you gain the confidence and the skills that you didn't realize you were working with us. And then when you apply those new skills to your next book, we look forward to serving on your team again and again and again.
So would you say most people come to you before anyone else has seen their book, or do you work with people after they've got an agent or after they've got a publisher even?
We have both. We have those who have agents and they've been fortunate to have a contract to go on to their next book. So they're just, that is their full career. We have those who've dreamt of reading and they've just finished their memoirs and we're helping them work it out. And then, like I said, we also have the publishing companies who come to us and say, can you handle this? We'll take care of it on that end. So there is no, one unique client. We're the ones who have to be unique to each client to make sure that they walk away with something that they're proud of.
And with that level of experience that you guys have, if someone's working with you, maybe pre-agent, do you offer any consultation on finding an agent or how to best prepare their work for an agent or querying?
We try to, right now, and the reason we're teaming up with you is we are not a one-stop shop. We don't publish, we don't do all those things because nobody can really do it all and be great. So we
don't do the editing.
Exactly. So we need to work together and make sure that, when we feel that we're confident, okay, now you can take this out in the world with pride, then, of course, we're setting them up. But part of that is strategy, and that's what we're discovering is that the sooner that a client understands that this author can say, okay, these are the different sections of, not just writing my book, not just editing my book, not just publishing my book, but then what happens? The marketing, the publicity, the sales, the distribution, all of that. If they can have that in those lines, because nobody really realizes how in-depth this can get, then they can focus on the next point while we're taking care of their editing behind the scenes. So the sooner you start, the absolute better. You can never start too soon. And people are embarking on unknown territory, and they've got to reach out to their publicists as soon as possible, ideally before they're publishing. So it's all about that strategy.
Absolutely, and we agree there. So once, what is the, sort of wrap-up process like when you're ending with a project? What is the end point? Is it, we've done as many edits as we've agreed upon, or when you feel the work has gotten to a certain place?
I think, again, that comes back to when we first connect, what is your goal here? Is this just a memoir for your family? You're going to keep it internal and you just want the facts to be accurate and you have bad spelling? Or is this, your lifelong dream and you want to not just have written the book, but you want people to read it and you want people to buy it? And you have this dream of, having this on your resume, not just as some obscure thing that you did, but rather as a significant milestone in your life. And I think that when we're doing that, that's when we can say, okay, we know that this is good enough, or no, this is the best it absolutely can be, and we're proud to let you go with it. So once we understand that, that's exactly where we can be in. And the world is so noisy and the competition is so huge, you just need to prepare as best as possible. If you have experience in marketing, promotion, sales, you can structure your own plan, but most people don't have that luxury. So authors are focused on writing and telling their story, and then there's the editing, publishing, marketing, and publicity. They're mystery things. So not to mention that most people, I don't know, maybe 99% of everyone I meet, they have a full-time job. They don't have time to figure this out. They have to eat. They have to support their family. So you're going to need help. Once you can define your goals, we can create a strategy together, and a well-outlined list of tasks, and more so, people discover they don't even want to do these tasks. They just want to outsource it all. So that's fine by us if we can clearly define what your goals are. You've invested in the writing. You put your ideas in reality. Then you have to invest in editing so you can confidently publish. Then you need to invest in the marketing, the publicity to bring it to life, to make it real, make more than just a virtual soul sitting on some Amazon page, no visitors, buyers, no audience. So we want to bring your stories to life. The journey is just the beginning. So we'll help you create strategy, we'll connect you with the right people, and you finish your book, you find an editor, plan to publish and market the hell out of it so you never doubt and you never say, if only I had. This is your time. So take it and make it happen.
Excellent. So the certain stage of the process where you advise authors to begin coming up with their marketing plan is towards the end. Is that correct? Where before you wrap up, you sort of give them, tips to when to start a marketing plan?
No, actually, as soon as if their goals in the very beginning are to market this and sell it and promote it beyond their friends and family, we're going to get them to publish this as soon as possible because it is an in-depth situation, and some of the things that you can better prepare for can be done simultaneously with the editing.
That's
Excellent.
great for us.
Yeah.
We love getting projects as soon as possible. We really can't tell authors enough that if they have a goal for reviews in major trade publications like Publishers Weekly, or major media like the New York Times, we need to be sending them the book, as much as 6 to 9 months in advance. So the sooner, and we can also, on our end, we often will split up a campaign so that we're doing that work of getting the initial advanced review copies out to the media in that advanced time frame, but then saving a lot of the campaign hours for closer to release date, where the author really needs some ramp up on the publicity and marketing. So we certainly agree that the sooner they're thinking about marketing, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's music to our ears when you just said that. Because during that pre-publication phase as well with the advanced copies, it's also a great time to look at social media and see where we can maximize and boost our followers and, just get that up and going and making it consistent in time for book release and book launch, to where the media and potential new readers and book buyers are beginning to pay attention to you and checking out your website and your social media platforms. So that's also a great time, as soon as possible, sooner the better, to revamp and start thinking about, your social media plan as well.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for today. JoEllen, do you want to point our listeners in the direction of where they can find more information about First Editing?
Oh, yeah, sure. You can just go to our website. It's firstediting.com. That's FIRST, editing.com. And we'll be glad to we have a live chat on there or phone calls. We love to speak to you personally. Or you can always drop us an email. We'll get back to you. But again, that free sample, send it in. Just send us about 5,000 words, and we'll get back to you in the next 24 hours and get you started. It's just important to get that strategy and to get the first step taken.
That's
we
awesome.
look forward to it.
Thank you so much, JoEllen, for joining us today. And you can find more information about Smith Publicity on our website as well, smithpublicity.com. And we're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Smith Publicity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Smith Publicity, All Things Book Marketing Podcast. To reach us and learn about our many book marketing services, visit www.smithpublicity.com
Or send us an email to
info@smithpublicity.com.